How you doing, Ralfy here, Ralfy Customs. Time to look at our Tom's Fazer. Righto, so we're all on the bench, ready to rock and roll. Basically, I hate that, don't I? We're going to fit this seat unit and the subsequent rear subframe. So we've got it all clamped down and bolted up. Everything's held so I can measure middles and heights and all that. The very first hurdle we have to overcome is to lose this rear tank mount because it's going to sit wrong for how the new seats come. It's in the way. It's kind of under the seat on the standard bike. The standard seat covers all this shit up and then comes down here a bit and does what it does like. I think the idea seems to be that you can pivot on this so you can undo the bolt here and you can pick the old tank up and fuck about with the stuff underneath. We're not bothered about that. We can just take the tank off to fuck about with the stuff underneath. So I think what we've done is had a really good look. We need to maintain the airbox hangers here. Obviously we need to maintain the bottom shocker mount that you can't see very well here, look, all of this. So something here needs keeping. But we need to streamline this. We need to get rid of this. So we're going to cut this off, cut the brackets off for the brackets for the bracket, and we're going to do a really low slung just above the airbox off the bottom of the tank, 2 bolts kind of method, I think. Now this is full of manky old petrol, not full, it's got a gallon probably, a manky old petrol in it. So we're going to have it off. I'm going to have it off. I'm going to take that fuel tap out, which seems to be the fastest way to drain it, or maybe the fuel gauge sensor. I think the fuel gauge, because we don't want to be welding around. Sorry, the fuel tap. We don't want to be welding the bottom of the tank and fuck up the seals and that in the fuel tap. So I'm going to take this off, take that tap out, drain it off, and give it a good flush with some hot soapy water. And then we can look at fabricating the rear tank brackets. We can then trim the bulk of this shit off that we don't need after we take some measurements and do an angle, because this sits pretty good for the angle of the new seat. We'll take some datums, we'll make some notes, we'll drain the fuel, and then we can start chopping and welding and getting it how we want it. Here we go, look. Plenty of flushy action. Give it a right good fucking rinse out. Leave that running for a while. Righto, after much cutting, grinding, hammering and chiselling, we have got that bracket off and the plate that it was on, because it just left a fugly load of shit on the back of the tank, which you're going to see, that's the reason that we're changing the mount. Unfortunately for us, you can just see the gold of the braze. We've got braze on. The bottom of the tank's brazed in, factory, brazed in, or silicon bronzed or something. And the bottom of this bracket was, and it was spot welded in several places. There might have been 3 up here. So the proper overkill, spot welded all over the place and brazed. Now, I want to put a patch on there because it's been ground and sanded and hammered and chiselled. I want to strengthen it up because I'm not sure the integrity of the metal there like. And it's all going to be blended. It's all going to be filled when it's painted, so that'll go bye-byes. I just need to avoid the braze. So we're not going to do that yet. We'll get the bracket on the bottom and get it mounted on the frame, or however we're going to do it. Definitely mounted on the frame. I'm waffling a bit, to be fair. But you get the picture. We've cleaned that up. Nothing went bang. We had the acid test is stick the fucking map gas in the hole. See what happens, see if it flashes off, and it didn't. And we warmed it all up a bit as well, just to make sure. So Grinding's proved no dramas. I don't think welding will prove any dramas either. I don't think we'll go up in smoke. But we'll leave that patch until we've done the bracket, because we might be catching it. I don't know. You know, we're going to see how it comes out. Righto. So, with all that stripped off, like I say, we need to keep those mounts. So all I'm going to do, I know they've got to go. And I'm going to chop off here, leaving plenty of room to retain that. We can trim back if we need to. And I'm going to chop off here, retaining that, and trim off if we need to as well. So I want to get the back end out of the way. Look at the tank mount then and the airbox mount, because they've got to be where they've got to be. And then we'll try and see how the seat's going to fit on the frame that we're going to make. Righto, so we've chopped that shit out of the way, and we know the airbox has got to live where it lives, and we know the tank obviously has got to live where it lives. Now the original plan was to replace this bollocks with a snidey bracket that comes off and then bolts to a cross brace that goes over there like, but that's not going to work because the seat is sitting on top of this rail obviously, yeah. And it doesn't give you any scope to cover anything up. So whatever you do has got to be below this fucking top. And we're going to clamp the airbox. It's not going to work. There's not room in there to put a strap in and some button heads and a fucking bracket across. Yeah, it's not going to fit in. So plan B is going to be put some corners in. Drop it down in here with some corners. 2 brackets, one either side. Sorry, not very well camera in or speaking. Put a bracket on the tank and a bracket out here, and then we've got it that way. Righto, with that in mind, I've cannibalised some of the original tank mounts. I've chopped these off of a part of it, these little bunny ears, and I reckon they're going to drop in there quite nicely. And one of them at least has already got a 6mm jobby on it, so we're going to have to sort out a 6mm welder nut on the back of that or something a bit nicer, and then we can use those bad boys, and they're a good shape. They're going to slot in just above the airbox. Look, if I don't drop it, so just above the airbox and pointing back towards the frame, so they will be quite unobtrusive excuse me, unobtrusive to the top of the bottom of the seat base, which is the issue. We can't go above the bottom of the seat base. This won't work. That will work. The problem then is coming off the bottom of the tank, because it's fucking shoddy and a right fucking funny shape. It's like the surface of the moon when you get under there, like. So we've got mountains and craters to look at. I don't want to chop a piece out of it and put a big thick plate in or something. It's going to be hard to reinforce, but I think that's what we need to do. So let's get on and look at this threaded fucking look. That's spot welded on there, I reckon. Tiny wee little, looks like a tic-tac. It might be a tic-tac, Ralfy. It might, not a tic-tac. We ain't got a fucker, so we're going to have to make one and weld it on there. And that needs to be impeccably clean. So you might hear the thunder of the old fucking faithful air compressor thudding away in the background, bless it. I bet it's as old as me. It's my dad's air compressor. If you're watching, Dad, there it is. Milk still slips a bit. And we're going to get it in the shop blast cabinet and give it a quick tickle up.
Don't forget folks, our Fookstock stickers are now available in our Etsy store, link in the description below. Fookstock, you know it makes sense.
Right folks, the mighty Atlas. Oh, let's turn the lights on. It is the following week for me, Monday morning. I have been on the mighty Atlas in my spare time, and I've made something and not filmed it, so you've missed out. There you go. We've turned this little M6 slug that we're going to TIG weld into position on the back of that, because it's not got one like its counterpart has, and that'll get us ready to weld them on the frame, kind of. I still need to look at how I'm going to put this bracket on here, and I've been offered the seat base up. It's not the best fucking fit. It's not the best fit where it's got to go, because of this return. Sorry, I'm not showing you very well. This return here won't let me drop it over the frame tubes. Basically, I might have to trim that off. Might have to trim that off, but that's moving forward. First thing we've got to do is get the fucking tank on, so we've got to work out some bracketry, and then I can mount that part. These brackets that I'm about to TIG weld that little bit in now. I won't bother filming that because I'm not at my best and it don't film very well, so there you go. And there we go, look. There she is. Still a bit warm. All welded up with the M6 thread. And that is then ready to go somewhere down from the top of this tube and close to the back of the tank. So somewhere there, I think, is going to do us nicely. Righto, with those two brackets made, and I can estimate where they're going to go on the frame, I've used a bit of CAD, a bit of cardboard aided design, and a bit of product fucking development to trim up some brackets that are going to sit from under the tank somewhere in there. And we're going to beefy mount them under there, like nice bit of thick stuff. So what I'm going to do is drill through here M6 for 6mm clearance, so 6.5mm through there, and then transfer that through with the transfer punch through to the second one, and then I can get them bolted to them, offered up to that, and get a tack on hopefully. So here we are with the mighty Meddings. I don't know that's just yet. Going to get this freshly sharpened drill bit started on the hole to give us a bit of well for the old ankle lube. Like so, a little dab more. And any minute now, there she blows taps on. So I'll transfer that through to the other plate and drill that out the same, and I'll just knock those edges off with a little countersink tool like. Right, and that all comes together a little something like that. So we've got those brackets welded on the frame with the threaded bits in, and then we've got these big thick tabs going back under the tank. I'm going to take these off, take the tank off, flip it, and look at making these brackets fixed properly to the petrol tank. Right, so underneath stage one of these brackets, we've welded round where we can. We need to avoid this fucking seam. But we have, and we've just partially sliced through, partial amputation of the upper quadrant and knocked it down. So we can weld here, here, and here, and that'll be quite fucking firm. I need to think further if I need to brace that out with any more, but I'm not convinced I do, to be fair, like. Especially if we put some little rubbers under it, I think that'll be fucking happy days. Right, quick update, we're stalled out. I have trimmed these off as far back as I can, in fact too far. I've had to put some little brackets in to catch the airbox mounts. Well, that side I have, that side I've managed to get a little tack on. Because they need to, this needs holding obviously. And they have a slidey in them, which we need to maintain. So really I want to keep using these if I can. Now, I've got this width, and it's wider than the fucking seat base. And no matter what I can think of, trimming it back and doing stuff, it don't help because it gets narrower as you come further back. So this is its widest point, and it's still too fucking narrow to go over here. I can't move them in because they won't suit the tank, and it is compromising where I've got the tank mounts. I think the only option is to widen this seat base by a couple of inches, or 1.5 inches, or whatever it needs. So I'll talk to Mr. Clint and we'll see what's going on, and I'll find something to do in the meantime. Right, if you can make 8 and a 10 of this fucking video, you're doing better than me, because it is so fragmented and disjointed because of I've been off sick, ain't I, and I'm back in dribs and drabs. So all I can do is apologise. Mr. Clint has just been the dreaded airbox, which has been the bane of this build so far, and restricted where these rails can go because it needs to be mounted and slid out the way when you're fucking about with the carbs and stuff, has gone. We have got rid of that. We have deleted that from the equation, and we're having some pod filters which are going to sit about fucking there, which means this can fuck off. This can get out of the way. That's too wide for the seat base. We can put a one in, we can put a tubing across, and we can come off that wherever suits the frame. We could have a little thing, it don't matter. I've also spoke to him about beautifying it, and he is very happy for me to just put two up like this, one across, and obviously make it pretty, bung the ends and put a little gusset in or something, because none of it is seen when it's together. He says, don't worry about bending something that looks fucking gorgeous. None of it's exposed. Just crack on. So that has simplified the job no end. However, we still have a little side job to do, which is to make this replacement spindle. We need one of these 35 millimeters longer. I don't know why it's 35 mil, because it's off some really old Triumph. There's the back wheel. This fits through, and it's got nuts to adjust the bearing, and then blocking nuts on the outside. So we've taken a measure, and we've done a bit of working out, and we need it is a 19 by 20 thread, which is a bit obscure, and that's 44 millimeters long each end. The total spindle is 283 long, and I've made a test piece, which I'm not sure where I fucking put it on the old Atlas. We made a test piece. There's your thread, there's your 20, there's your 19, and there's one of this is off the one side or other on the fucking bike. That's one of the bearing adjusters, and that screws on lovely. That's my tester. And we've got the old Atlas, like I say, all set up, ready to rock and roll with that. So what I'm going to do is make the spindle to length on the Harrison, face it to length on the Harrison, put a centre mark, a centre drill in the end of each end, so we can support it in the Atlas, and then we'll take it over to the Atlas, machine 44 millimeters down to 19 mil diameter, so we know it's nice and concentric, and then we'll get the thread cut, and everyone's a winner. Right, so we're off with Old Faithful. We're going to trim this bit of EN16T down to a couple of millimeters over length. I think the tolerances are within a millimeter or two even, so we'll be absolutely fine with that. Right, now here we go then. So with that cut off and chucked up, I'm going to gingerly clean this end up, because it's the only bit of material we've got. There we go. And then I'll have this out, have a measure, and see how much needs to come off it. Not a lot, I'm thinking. Well, see, I've already done what I'm about to do on that end, on this end, just to feel my way like, so I'll show you what I've done. Righto. That is length, that's 284, which is a mil over length, which is well within the tolerances, so I won't bother fucking about and sorting it out. We need quite a bit of stick out for this next bit though, so really simple little job. I'm just going to prep it to cut the thread by, first of all, putting a good fucking chamfer on this end, like fucking so. A good chamfer, and don't forget this is going to be turned down a millimetre on the other lathe, and this, there we go, that chamfer's better than the other lathe, than the little lathe, so we'll do that. Now we're going to put a recess, in fact I'm going to fucking slow it down one, and put the recess for the end of the thread in, and that needs to be, let's zero that out, 44 thread plus 3 is 47, which is, come on, bang on there. I'll just lock off my carriage, hold on, knock my carriage off, touch on, which is there, and now we need to go, oh, I need to check that, hold on, right, 3 mil deep, so nice and steady in with that, like so, 3 mil, that'll give us a run off to end our thread when we cut the thread, and now we'll chamfer that, the edge that's going to remain, we'll just take my lock off, like so. So we chamfer the far edge to you, like so. Happy days. Right, and last thing on this lathe is we're just going to put a centre in the end, centre hole, so we can support it on the little atlas. So we're gently, really gently, just chip this in there. You have an habit of snapping off these if you're not careful, so we don't want that. We just want to give it a little bit of support, don't we? How's that looking? Not quite enough. There we go. That will do nicely. Right, we're over at the atlas. We've chucked it up. We've put a centre in. We've got it on a live centre because for the size of the lathe, there's quite a bit sticking out. We don't really want any more deflection than we're inevitably going to get. And the first thing we need to do is turn this down to 19 mil. So we need 40 thou off it, basically. Let me just set my screwdriver. I've just set my dial here to 0. If I can fucking see it, so I know where I am, which is there. And like that, and we'll have to hand feed it because we're set up for the threading. We're set up to screw cut, so it's not the happiest, is it? It'll do for a roughing pass, and then we'll probably change tooling. In fact, I'm going to change tooling anyway. Hold on, put that off, turn that off, look. We're nothing if not fucking transparent. That's shit, that is, isn't it? What have we done there, Ralphy? You fucked up your tube? Don't think so. Is that EN16? It's not the happiest fucking stuff in the world when it comes to fucking turning with regular high speed still. So, okay. So we'll touch off again. Oh, not quite that hard, look. It's all fucking go this morning. We'll touch off there. We'll 0 our dial. Is there, and we'll go in 10 thou. We want to do a 20 thou cut, so give that a good clean up and get it down to size. It's just going to be more of this if you watch me longer, so I'll probably skip forward until we've turned this actually down to size. We're halfway there with this, but it's a bit like watching paint dry, I'm sure. So we'll have that away, back that out, and we'll have a measure. Oh, fucking hell, sorry, shit in it. I'm sorry. I can only apologise again for the quality of this video, but I'm here doing a bit and you're watching it, so this is fucking real live action. We need another half a mil, so another 10 thou. So it should be there. So away she goes, Captain. There is quite a bit more chatter than I'd fucking like, to be honest. I thought that'd handle that well. But there you go. Bit of lube might help. So I'll get this machine down to 19 mil, and then you can join me when we get onto the screw cutting section of the job light. Righto, so we've touched on and zeroed out. Have we? I think we have. Do you know? I'm not sure we have, yeah. We've touched on and zeroed out. That is honestly how bad things are at the minute. And we've dropped it down a bit in speed. Now we've marked it up. I know that we're running 20 TPI because I've done a test piece yesterday, but I need a sanity check. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a 5 thou scratch pass, yeah, and see what's what. I'm just waiting for a line on my dial gauge, on my thread gauge to come around. So we feed that along. 5 thou, we need 33, 34 thou cut. Back that out, take it along. back to 0 and that 5 thou that we just had, which was there. So we can now check with the thread gauge. I know you can't see great, you'll have to bear with me when I'm on this lathe because I can't get the camera where I normally do. And that is spot on. So, bit of lube, just a bit. We'll go another 5 thou, taking us to 10, which is there. Oh, no we won't, that's not made a good job of it, has it, Ralph? I didn't wait for the line to come round. Let's see if we can get away with that. Hopefully we can, it's only 5 thou. So, back into 0, onto 10, wait for a line to come round, you wanker. And away she goes, yeah, that'll be fine. So, knock it off, wind it out, take it back, wind it back into that 10, plus another 5, wait for a line, and go again. And we'll keep going on with this until we go about 34 thou deep, and then we'll look at having a test fit, maybe 35 thou deep. So I won't bore you with watching me do this repetitively, but instead, after this cut, you can join me as I get nearer the end. So, off we go, out, along, back to where I was, which was 20, 25. As we get nearer the 30, we'll start taking finer cuts because the tool's going into the job deeper, so it's cutting more material. But I'll do another cut at 5 thou extra, which is 25, and then I'll break it down into little steps. Right, this one's 34 thou, which is bob on for it, but we need to allow for a bit of backlash and a bit of play and a bit of odd stuff and all the rest of it. You know, we are doing this on a 100-year-old lathe, so what I'll do is do a couple of spring passes. So we're back to 34 thou at that. There you go, look. We'll do this a couple of times, maybe 3 times. And then we'll have a test fit. So, come on. 34 on the dial. It's there. Just goes to show you, don't it? We'll do this once more and then we'll have a look. Go out, along, 34. There, wait for a line. Story of my life. Unfortunately. Not now, but there you go. Up to the end, knock off the feed, wind it out once more for good luck. And then we'll have a test fit. I'll be amazed if it goes straight on, to be fair. We'll see. Right, have that out. Turn that off. Wind this out. Get that nut on the. Where? Oh, we're on. We are on, and we're a little bit tight at that. It's just tightening up, so we'll do another thou. We'll take another thou cut. Oh, wind this in, turn that on, get that spinning, lock it off, come back here. 34 we were at, weren't we? So let's go 35. Put a drop of fucking lube on. Wait for a line. Oh, no, not there. Fucking hell, that would have been bad. There. Oh. Go in another fucking turn of the dial and go to 34. Here we go, I told you, look, it's all fucking going off. And so on and so forth. You get the picture, don't you? So, spit chips out, wind that out, go along. 34, line, there, sorted. Go I'll give that a rock and roll. And see how that fits. Right, then last couple of spring passes, once I wound it in the full turn, like a fucking idiot, it's shocking, isn't it? It's left me with a very nice thread. So that is perfectly acceptable. There's no play in it. I can wind it on by hand. It's maybe a little bit tight. Maybe one last spring pass, but overall, the job's a good one. Yeah, I think I will do one last spring pass, but I won't film it. And then what I'll do is I'll do the other end from start to finish without talking, which would help me at the minute. And fast forward it, so you've not got to fucking sit there watching me do what I've just took 10 minutes to fucking do. Again, 34. It's there, wait for a line. There. There we go, that'll do it, that'll defluff it. Without a shadow of a doubt. I'm very happy with that thread, so I can knock the speed up a bit, look. With the old belty hose. Whatever you do not engage the feed, knock the fluff off, and call that end done. So I'll have this out, spin it round, and then video myself doing it again and fast forward through it, so you ain't got to sit there for 10 minutes. So there we have it, look. One spindle, 35mm long, complete with a couple of goofs and a fucking nutcase at the helm, and we'll crack on with that. Someone's just turned up, so I'm going to end this segment and I'll do a quick outro. So there you go, there's a few days fucking about for me while I'm not at my best. As I've touched on in this and previous videos, we're going through a bit of a transition period with medication and life events and shit, but we're all good. I would apologise for this not being my best video, but you know, everyone seems happy with what I'm doing, so let me know in the comments. I really appreciate it. It just leaves me to say, as always, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, give me a sub, check out all the bump in the description below, some good stuff down there, and I will catch you on the next one. Big love everyone, I'll see you soon.